meeting of the Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Committee to order at 4 p.m. And we will start with roll call. Tammy. Here. Jenny.
Here.
Travis.
I'm here and I'm actually on my way there. If I get there late, will you guys let me in?
Absolutely.
Okay, I'm on my way.
Okay, we know Valerie is not here. Michael.
Here.
Tiffany.
Here.
All right. I always forget, do we need to, we don't include our liaisons in the roll call, or we do?
You don't need to.
No, okay, okay.
Thank you.
Thanks. Putting you to work, city employee. All right. Did everybody have an opportunity to look at the minutes? So nice. If you were here in person, you would have a hard copy. There any discussion to be had on the minutes? It's from the February 6th meeting. And if not,
I move we accept them.
all right. So a motion on the floor is to approve the minutes as provided. Do I hear a second?
I can second that.
All right. A second. All right. So motion on the floor is to approve the meeting minutes from February 6th as provided. All those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Okay. First item of business. Well, we should say hi to Heidi. This is your first meeting in your official capacity. Last meeting, you were just a citizen and joining in on the meeting. So thank you, Heidi, for being here. And we hear that we are going to potentially have 2 city councilors liaising with our committee, double the presence, double the impact, double the fun. So Joel Litkey, I think, will also occasionally be a liaison. All right. So we have the annual plan is the first item on the agenda, which also, if you were here in person, you would have a hard copy of, which I appreciate. Okay, and this was included in the packet.
So your goal is to flesh this out more so that we can present it next month when the council asks for all the committees and commissions to present their work plans.
Okay. So with like our steps.
Yeah, your steps, if you have other things you want to add to it, your target dates. So if we start at the top with community engagement, engage with community groups, churches. We discussed last month creating a 1-page info sheet, and that's as far as we got.
Okay, well, so we'll just open this up for discussion on any ideas anyone has.
So the bullet points then underneath that, should that be each community group and church that we're wanting to reach? Is that what that's for?
So the bullet point underneath that could be create a list of all the community groups. And then it could be another bullet point, schedule meetings with selected number of community groups. I don't expect you to put in your goal all the community groups, but creating perhaps a list would be a good sub project.
Yeah. I think that'd be a great bullet. And do you think we need dates or no for those steps?
I think it'd be a good idea to have at least target dates. I mean, it doesn't have to happen exactly on that date. We can move it depending on our schedule, but that way we are not getting to December and haven't completed, a couple goals, or we're not getting to next year and we haven't completed anything.
Right.
It's also helpful for me because I use your goals to set up your agendas.
Yes, which is very helpful to all of us. So we'll keep doing that. Okay, so let's just flush this out. The community engagement goal, engaging with the community groups and churches. One thing we've already said is creating the one-page info sheet, which is just the conversation starter, the introduction. It might be information that we send to a group ahead of time, or that, we bring with us to guide the conversations, or just to get us a jump start on those. We'll have the list of different groups we'd want to reach out to. And then the logistics of making those meetings happen would have to be another step. And obviously, we're not going to be able to contact every group that's going to be on our list. But I think we could set a number of, we plan to try to engage X number of, whether it's like three is good for a first year, something like that, and see how it goes. Are there any other steps that could help us that we're not thinking of to get us to that ultimate goal of engaging with these different community groups and churches?
Aaron, it's Mike. Can we add to the list of community groups the school, or maybe more specifically the high school? Again, I'm just sort of doubling back on the idea of trying to engage and sort of hear the community or the student body as a community.
Yes.
You're jumping ahead, Michael. That's
Yeah.
the-
So, yep. So Michael, the second objective, or I don't know how we
I'm
break these
sorry.
down.
Also, full disclosure, I'm sorting tools and I'm not looking at the agenda. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
okay. So the next item is engaging with students. So on par with engaging with the community groups and churches, we also have another one targeted specifically with students. So it gets called out as a standalone.
Perfect.
And you had added to that on the last meeting that you wanted to explore the option of a youth council. Now that target date is what I'm expecting the new school year is. So if you're going to start a youth council, that'd be a great time to start it.
Yeah.
You might want to have opening discussions with the
Right.
school district before the end of
Create
this
an
year.
on-ramp
Yes.
to that
Cool.
this year. Michael, did you have more?
No, that sounds
Okay.
fantastic.
Okay.
I love that. And that gives us enough, like you're saying, lead up time to create that on-ramp and sort of get the discussion going. We also have been looking for a way in to start a conversation with the administration for the Arts Commission as well. So I think that we could sort of, have a multi-pronged approach here with trying to get some traction with the schools.
Yes. And just as a slight tangent at the What's Up Estacada, which was amazing and well attended. I think the timing and location were really great. I did have a conversation with Chris Stanton, formerly of Ant Farm, but now
Yep.
is the Dean of Students at Estacada High School. So definitely already a really strong connection there, and that will help get us an entry into that work. And then I also spoke with Manny, who is working at Ant Farm. So I think we have some good connections with both now the high school and Ant Farm to really focus on the student engagement piece.
That sounds perfect.
Okay, so for the community groups and churches, the one-page info sheet, which was partially some of the information from our charter, and also the list of accomplishments or types of projects that we have done. So that's going to be fairly simple, just as a starter. The list of groups, we have some of that information already from city lists. So when do we anticipate that we could have? Or is the list done pretty much? Or do you think we need to look at it to see if anybody's missing or any groups are missing?
Yeah, I would look at it to see if there's any groups missing. We do not have churches listed on the list. So that's something you're also going to want to add as your churches to the list. And you want to expand outside of city limits, and most of our, the groups that are in our list are inside city limits. So you're going to want to look at that and see if there's outside agencies that you want to add in.
Okay. Have we been provided with the list as we have it yet? Yeah,
I can resend it.
okay.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. Has anybody else? If it's just for my purposes, then I can find it in an email. Okay, so Elena, if you could resend that list, what group, when do we think that we would have time to look over that list and then also propose additions to it?
Do we need to have this done by the end of this month?
We don't have to, but it's just a matter of capacity and when we think that we could
Aren't we
complete
supposed
it.
to have- This is supposed to be done though, so they can present it, right?
The plan. That doesn't mean the stuff has to be completed on it. We're just,
Right.
showing them that we have a well thought out plan
Right.
for the year.
Are they gonna wanna see our list of churches and community groups?
I don't know if, can y'all hear, in Zoom land?
No.
No, okay. Just bring that mic a little closer.
Sorry. So I just wondered if they were gonna want the list of our groups and churches.
Yeah.
So-
The council, they will not for the
Okay.
next council meeting where we're presenting the project plan. I don't imagine they would ever ask for that information.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right.
No. Where's our annual plan for, the next meeting? What's on our agenda?
So you'll have nothing on your agenda. The only thing we had on the agenda carryover from last year is community engagement. So that's why your one-page info sheet technically is before the new fiscal year starts. It's still in this year.
All right, so none of this stuff technically has to happen until, oh, well. It says 22-23, which we are wrapping up,
Yes.
right?
So this follows the fiscal year, which starts July 1st and runs through June 31st of 2024.
So are we working on the goals though for 2023-24?
Yes.
Okay,
Okay.
so none of the dates should technically,
Yeah, I
Be-
copied over last year. So let
okay,
me
none of
fix
the dates
heading.
should be before July 1st.
Yeah, they don't need to be before July 1st. The community engagement portion is a carryover from this year's goals.
Right. Do any of you have any comments about the possibility of discussing the list at the next meeting, at the May meeting? Will y'all have time to review the list that Elena provides and then think of groups that we would want to bring back to discuss as additions?
Well, Jennifer and Tiffany will not be here at the next because this is their last meeting.
Oh, aren't we having a party?
Hmm.
A going away party.
I mean, they are always welcome to, contribute as community members, but
Right.
Well, there was 3 that are leaving, aren't there? There was more than 2.
Nope, just 2, because then we have you.
Tammy reapplied.
Reapplying
right.
and
2
then,
others.
yes,
Right,
and the
yep,
2
got it.
others will be joining us.
Okay.
And they're joining us at the May meeting?
They're joining us at the April meeting.
What month is it now?
It is
I don't-
March.
So you meant the April meeting, not May?
Right. Yep. Yep, I meant the next meeting, whatever month comes
That's
after
okay.
we're in now. So will they be here at the April meeting though?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Phew, that's really what I meant this whole time. Okay, so at the April meeting, shall we discuss the outreach list?
Yeah, I think we should.
Okay, thank you. Okay, and then scheduling, beginning to scheduling calendar. I'm almost think we should push that to June, just to give us time to go over the one pagers, get our new committee members up to speed and be able to reflect any of their feedback on it before we dive into it. So could we say June?
Yeah.
For. Okay, and does anybody have an idea of like for this next year, how many groups we would like to engage with?
I think it would be really good to engage in maybe one main in each kind of area, you know, as Decatur's so spread
Geographic
out.
area.
Yeah. And maybe even like meeting at, like I said before, the Spanish church. So having, you know, diversity, not just
Mhm.
areas, but like
Representative
Mhm.
of
senior
diverse
center.
perspectives.
Senior center would be for the seniors.
Yeah.
Spanish church, maybe outline community churches downtown. We could have something downtown. I think it's gonna need to be more than 3
Okay.
because we're so spread.
Right,
out.
yeah, and I don't think that we'll be able to hit everything. Cause I kind of see this also including the different city tabling events.
Mhm, mhm. Yeah. That's a good idea.
So I don't know, what number do you think, Tammy? Can always under promise and over deliver.
I think we could do 4
Yeah,
for sure.
like a quarterly, one and at least one per quarter.
Yeah, I think that's doable.
Anybody have any strong feelings about committing to 4 different engagement events? And I don't know if this is like 4 total for the community engagement goal, and that could be between the student and then community groups and churches, 4 total. Because 4 of each would be too many.
Yeah. As long as we're reaching the unincorporated areas, that's important to me. So I don't care what we do in the city. We can do whatever we want here because we're going to reach people here.
Okay. So that one feels pretty, that one's flushed out now. Okay. Okay, so engaging with the students, exploring the option of a youth council. Are there any steps that we want to include here? I mean, we'd obviously want to have meetings with both Ant Farm and, you know, possibly someone like Chris, or have Chris connect us to somebody at the high school.
So do you want, so to explore the option of the youth council, the target date would be the date of the new school year. But do you want to start sooner than that with potentially setting up a meeting with, you know, Chris or whomever would be our liaison person from the school district.
Yeah,
Okay, so we can schedule meetings with school staff. And we'll probably want to do that before the end of the school year. I don't want to put that out till June. So,
Right, because all of the school staff obviously is off during the summer. I don't know if Chris's position carries
mhm,
over the summer, but yeah, and the summit that we had last month was definitely fruitful and sort of a good example that we can sort of multitask between different commissions with sort of similar objectives or overlaps. I think that with Manny and Chris, both having been and currently affiliated with Ant Farm, they're going to be a really phenomenal resource for the city at large. And that's a very direct path to the student body. So I think we should try and at least start that conversation. Maybe we have a couple members from each committee. I'm speaking on also behalf of the Arts Commission, sit down and just kind of have an opening discussion and say, these are people we're trying to reach. These are projects that we're interested in doing. These are things that we'd like your help with outreach and that kind of stuff. So I think starting that conversation before the end of the school year would be advantageous.
yeah. That just made me think that it'll be really good to know what each of the different committees and commissions are working on, just because we don't want to get into a situation where multiple
Yeah.
committees are looking for youth engagement and we're reaching out to them
Right.
at different times and really taxing our connections and resources. So
If you want, by the time we roll around to next month, I can bring you a short list of what we're working on for the Arts Commission and what the timing looks like. Because we're not doing any specific youth outreach. We're really, I mean, at this point, we're looking at some of these summer events, which land probably the second or third week in July. Beyond that's the big event. Then we'll be doing a couple smaller things, encouraging students to participate, but not necessarily directly outreach related.
okay,
I would also say all of the committees and commissions have to present their work plan to council next month. So
Oh,
you
right.
will know what everybody is doing next
There
month
you go.
after the council meeting.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Yeah, so maybe put the scheduled meetings with school staff for May. We can see if we can schedule them in May.
yeah.
Does that work? Okay.
When does school get out? Into May?
June.
June.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, I think it's hard to really come up with anything else.
Yeah.
With this one, just because we have no idea what direction we'll go in once we start having those conversations. Some form of youth engagement will happen. Okay, should we move on to the next blue row, which is gathering information? This feels very similar to community engagement.
So some of the things you talked about last time were potentially creating a survey and either sending it out in the water bill or posting it online, which would be a little, I mean, it's still community engagement, but it's not going out and meeting people where they are.
More passive.
It's more passive. Yeah.
And is this where we would use the questions or were those for the engagement sessions? When we talked about the questions that were already created, we talked about using those, but I don't remember if that was to help guide our conversations when we're out meeting with groups, probably.
I would expect. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, water bill and what was the other avenue?
Well, you can set it up on the website
Oh,
and
yeah.
then share it on the city's social media.
All right, so considering our other tasks so far, what do we think timing and steps? So we would want to create whatever the survey is would be the first step. And then distributing it in multiple methods.
Can I just say something about what we just said? So water bill will not apply to people outside of the
Mhm.
city.
Yep.
And many people outside the city are not on social media. So in order to get the unincorporated Estacada feedback from those people, I think we're gonna be really dependent on reaching them in the churches.
So that's where potentially the survey is something we would want to have
Yeah. in
to
paper.
distribute at the community engagement.
Yes. So then, do you want to potentially have that ready by June? Since that's when you're going to be scheduling, you'll be
Yep.
starting to schedule the meeting. So if you have the survey created by June,
Yeah.
or at least at your June meeting, you can hash it out.
So we'll have a toolkit of sorts.
Yes.
One pager, survey or guiding question, things that we want to gather feedback on, and those will probably come in handy for both the gathering information and community engagement. Okay. Anything else on gathering information? Welcome to the room, Travis. Yes, you'll have to set up your mic. All right, work with committees is the next item. So just kind of piece in my head, it's all sort of coming together. So working with the committees, community. So we have some information. Michael and I attended the summit a couple weeks ago. That had representation, I think, from each of the different committees. And so we got to hear a little bit about some of the projects that were coming up that we may want to engage with. Trying to remember, I took notes. Michael, do you remember anything specific?
I'm sorry, Aaron, can you repeat yourself? I was just talking to my boss real quick.
At the summit, when we had the opportunity to hear a little bit from each of the different committees that are happening, were there some projects that you remember that stood out as ones that we would likely be, that we'd want to put on our plan as something that we are going to work with the committees on?
Well, I do remember specifically the whole traffic control discussion. I don't think that necessarily involves or reflects on the DIC. But we are, and again, I'm sorry to keep going back to my role with the Arts Commission, but we're organizing this larger event in July. And we would like to have vendors and artists and community members and outreach and all of these different kind of things displayed, hopefully in person. You know, you just have a little booth or whatever at that point. So I think that that's kind of a cool opportunity for people to be able to showcase different things from sort of a representation lens. I don't have any specific ideas right now about what that looks like, or how we sort of put that into application, but that's definitely an idea that I'll follow up on. I'm sorry if that doesn't really answer your question.
It's okay. I got my brain moving a little faster. So I think some notes that I had as I'm deciphering them. So one of them is somebody was talking about childcare, and I wrote it was planning.
It is, yep. So the planning commission is looking at updating some zoning information to make it more clear what types of childcare can be in which types of zones, and potentially update it to make it a little easier for people who are looking to open a daycare facility to open within the city.
Right, which is a huge access barrier for anybody who has children
Yes.
to care for. So that might be something that we could see if there's ways that we can engage.
Yeah,
Support.
you can certainly attend and provide testimony when they have their public hearings for that. Because it will require code changes, which is, takes about 4 months. It's not a quick process.
Right. Okay, so something else was the Parks and Rec is looking at all access playground options. So I think that's another area that we could definitely play a part. And then was it the traffic and public safety looking at ADA pedestrian crossings,
Yep, I remember that.
that type of thing. So those were things that I think from what we heard in that summit that seemed like real clear overlap with the goals of our work as well. I don't know how that becomes a flushed out work plan.
I'm sorry, just to jump in, do we have a plan or any kind of intent to sort of assign liaisons from our committee to sit in with and participate with some of these other committees as well? Just like you're saying, is sort of the first step or the extension of an outreach, or just sort of crossing paths, blending ideas and stuff like that.
We've had conversations about that over the last couple of years about how to more intentionally connect with the different committees. And it's just, we've never gotten to that formal step. So far it's been like, if we would be invited maybe to a meeting, like that a different committee would invite us to one of their meetings, if there's a specific topic they see. I think
is there such a thing as inviting ourselves?
Oh yeah, well, I think they're all public.
Yeah,
Okay.
they're all public meetings. Anybody is welcome to attend any other committee, commission, or council meeting.
Right.
Got you. Okay.
So I think we've had conversations in the past about how we can make those relationships more intentional, and whether it's, one pagers for the committees that we send out and say, here's the types of things that we think that we could assist with.
Right. Or yeah, just like you're saying, to send somebody to kind of scout and listen in, and then it just helps sort of circulate those ideas, when we get back to our own efforts.
Yes.
So I have 3 bullet points underneath the projects with other committees. One is childcare options with the Planning Commission, then accessible play equipment with the Parks and Rec Commission, and ADA ramps with the Traffic and Public Safety Commission. And we can always just send the chairs of those committees an email and say, we'd like to be involved in your conversations regarding these 3 topics that we've mentioned. Please invite us to these meetings. And then whoever can attend, can attend.
Great.
And that sounds like a good starting point without putting too much on everybody's schedules.
Okay, and that, well, if we start those conversations now, we might get an idea back from them on when that work will be taking place, and then that could help. Then that might just add dates to our
Yep.
work plan. Okay, I think I can send that email
Okay, great.
to those chairs. I wrote that down on my to-do list. Okay, anything else under the work with committees goal? Okay, the next one is continuing the development of the equity lens. So updating it as needed.
I put review lens in December. I figure December is going to be kind of a quiet time, hopefully. And that'll give you guys a good chance to go through it, read through it, see if some of the work that you've done up till now has warranted any changes,
Okay,
if that seems reasonable.
yep.
Great.
I feel like I need like a laminated copy, like a pocket copy or something that I can just have with me.
Of the equity lens?
Yes. Just to make it, and if anybody has suggestions for how to make it a living document that is easy to pull out and utilize to guide conversations or, because it's multiple pages. Even though the different sections are topical. But just how to really make it useful. Oh, this one?
Mhm.
Thanks, Jerry, for reminding us.
No, but
Maybe-
you're right. It's 15 pages long, so it's
Yeah,
a bit of a. I don't know if there's anything easier than having it right here, but
yeah, just the
So-
practice of using it. I don't think any of us, it's not become second nature to just be like, hey, let's pull out the equity lens.
Maybe our goal could be by December to slim it down to like a 2-page document.
If it needs to be, it's just that there's different pages are for different settings. So if you were to use it just for a specific setting, you would just have one page, really.
Oh, okay.
So, but how can we make it?
You need like a flow chart.
Yeah. Yeah,
that would also be 15 pages long.
yes, yes.
Yeah.
So helpful and useful. Okay. Okay, I think I think everybody, if we just kind of keep that sort of frame in mind when we're thinking and talking about the equity lens, that we'll be able to improve it. Okay. The final goal that we have on our plan is informing city council and staff, including code updates, participation, accessibility, and budget for translation. Which is, well, it hasn't been approved, but it's been submitted, right?
Yes. So the budget committee doesn't meet until May, so it's submitted to Sadie and staff will format the budget, then it goes to budget committee and I don't anticipate any issues around that.
No, but there might be something for our next year's plan to do a check-in and see how the services are being utilized. How do we make sure people are aware of that option?
So if you want to review it again, I would say review it probably in February of 2024, because that will give us chance to send it off to Sadie for the next budget year.
Okay. And how will,
We can
people
just-
know that it exists and it is for their use. or-
Oh, the committees know?
Yes, once it's approved and it's in the budget as
Mm-hmm.
of July 1.
I imagine we could just, I'm planning, well, I was planning on doing a committee 101 and we could mention it then. Even if it wasn't approved in the budget, we would always accommodate those requests. So when I do the committee 101s with each committee, I can just add a slide. If you have accessibility concerns and would like to request a translator or an interpreter, contact Sadie and we will schedule one for you.
Okay. Okay, and then in February, we'll review what usage and,
Yeah, and see if the value that we put in the budget was appropriate or if we need more or less.
okay. And we would be able at the review to see who had requested those funds. I mean, I don't need to know a person, but sort of like why and
I know we'd be able to run a report for the budget item. I don't know that we'd be able to necessarily see who.
okay, I just want to see like, is it like one committee that is constantly that obviously knows this is here and they're doing a great job of using it to engage and maybe it would tell us that there are other groups who still may not be aware that funding is available.
That I'll ask Sadie and see, like when she runs the report, what information can she glean from it? I don't want to put too much extra,
No.
on her to have to keep track of
No.
who.
So the only thing with the date in the next year is finalizing the TSP.
Mhm.
We don't currently know of any other, or do we know of any other code update conversations that will be taking place next year?
Potentially childcare.
Okay,
I don't have a date for that, but I can put that in there.
Jerry, people online can't hear you.
So at our last council meeting, actually our meeting or workshop with the planning commission, there are a lot of city codes that are going to be reviewed over the next year. There's a lot of stuff where we're not meeting state standards. There's some of our code that's not particularly legal. And they're addressing that and going through it. So there is a lot of code and mostly around housing and then the airport zoning. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of code that will be reviewed by city staff and the city attorney over the next year, just to get us on back to legal,
Okay. So that'll just be ongoing as needed or as discussions arise.
Yeah.
Okay, and then the participation accessibility, I don't know if we have any tasks associated with that. So this is, the example of putting the applications for all the committees online to make those more accessible. That's something we have done. I don't know if we've identified any other projects or if this is also like as things arise.
So it might be helpful to review this after your community engagement sessions.
Mm.
So maybe potentially review this after you've had all these questions that you go out in the community and ask, and then you might come back with information.
Probably a lot of
Yeah.
information.
Yeah. So does that work for this type of work plan to have some things really penciled out and scheduled and other things open-ended because the penciled in things will likely dictate the open-ended ones?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's fine. I mean, it shows, that you've thought this out, that you have a well thought out plan. You don't have to have specific exact dates in there.
Okay. Okay. Right, is there anything that we are missing or anything that anyone wants to discuss further?
I am going to log on to the Zoom to share what I have updated on your plan so that you can all look at it, review it, and approve it.
Recording in progress.
Turn my sound off.
We're gonna get the echo. Okay.
Oh, let me turn the camera off too, because you don't need to see me. Okay, so let's go back up to the top. So I've updated this. You have your create the one-page info sheet. We added a date that we had that date already, the list of community groups, churches, 423, and schedule meetings with groups, churches. We're gonna look at those schedules, start scheduling those in June with the goal of 4 meetings in the next year. And then we have, we already had the explore option of youth council. We added scheduled meetings with the school staff in May. And then here under gathering info, we added create a survey, and we'll do that in June to use in our community engagement, also share online, website, water bill. Online and website are kind of this should be social media. And our work with committees, we identified 3 projects that other committees had mentioned. The childcare options with the Planning Commission, accessible play equipment with Parks and Rec Commission, and then ADA ramps with the Traffic and Public Safety Commission. And I just put when they discuss this, that'll be when you have those meetings. We already had the review lens in December. I do not have a time for childcare here. That'll also be when they address it. And then put the review after community meetings for the participation accessibility. And then updated this budget for translation to review budget for the next fiscal year in February of next year. And if that looks good to everybody, you guys can make a motion and approve it. If you want to make changes, let me know.
Are we making a target date for the unincorporated Estacada as a focus group? Do we need one there? Under gather information?
Yeah, I was
Oh, okay.
assuming that was included here
Okay.
in the schedule
Okay.
meetings with groups and churches.
Okay.
But I can put that here to make it clear.
Looks good to me.
It looks legit. I can.
Yeah.
Just last chance for Tiffany, Michael, or Jenny. Anything we're missing?
Looks good to me.
Okay, well, I will make a motion that we adopt this work plan for the year, our committee goals for the 2023-24 year.
I second.
Thank you. All right, motion on the floor is to accept the 2023-24 goals All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
I,
Go, Michael, I didn't hear you.
Yes, I'm sorry. I can't.
Okay.
I'm trying to mute and unmute in a timely fashion, and I'm not pulling it off very well. Aye.
Okay, any opposed? Okay, motion passes.
Great.
We'll have a lot to catch Valerie up on. When she gets back. Okay, next item is budget. So we had discussed requesting a $1,200 budget for the 23-24 year for outreach, refreshments. And this would be our first year requesting an official budget. Any discussion? Did we need to break that down at all, Elena,
No.
or we're fine just,
You're fine just as it is.
okay. So do we need to make a motion?
You do need to make a motion.
Would anybody like to make a motion? That would say something about requesting a budget of $1,200 to cover refreshments and outreach materials.
I motion that we propose the budget as earlier proposed, or that we accept and move forward with the budget as earlier proposed of $1,200.
Okay,
I
Second.
second that. Sorry.
all right. All right, motion on the floor is that we move forward with the proposal of a $1,200 budget to cover refreshments and outreach events. All those in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
I, I,
Any opposed? Okay, motion passes. All right, next item is council presentation. Do we have another quarterly presentation coming up already?
Yes, you do. And this one is going to be specifically regarding your project plan. So really all you're going to need to do is present the plan you just approved.
Okay. All right, does, what is it? When?
I don't think they've scheduled them yet. I think they were going to try and break it out into 2 meetings because there's a lot of committees.
So a special meeting just for committee annual plans.
I don't know that it will be. It will be next month. It'll be in April. It'll be Monday evening, one of the 2 council meetings. They're not going to schedule a special meeting, but they might take part of one evening, part of another.
Okay,
So it would either be the 10th or the 24th. Starting at 7 PM ish.
okay. Typically, I have made the presentations on behalf of our committee, and I would like to open the invitation to anyone else who would like to either just participate. I'm usually available, but I would be happy to do that with someone, or if somebody else wants to do it, happy to allow that as well. So once we know more about the date and time, just think about that opportunity. Can't miss. Maybe as an outgoing committee member task. Okay, no, we wouldn't,
Crickets.
we wouldn't do that.
Throw somebody under the bus one last time. I have done that on behalf of the other committee, so I'm willing to do that on behalf of the DIC.
Thanks, Michael.
Mhm.
Do we have any attendees? Jerry, are you here for public comments? All right.
Hi, I'm Jerry Tenbush, Estacada resident, Edge Hill Road. In city limits 97023. First off, a couple of things, business wise, I want to, one that came up while I was sitting here during your meeting. So the two parks, there's two examples of parks that are all inclusive that, if you guys wanted to research, wanted to see them, one is, Harper's Playground. And the other one is, Gabriel's Park in Portland. They're both all-inclusive parks. If you wanted to see what they look like, what the idea is, those are the two that come to mind for me for all-inclusive parks. The second thing is earlier today at the Downtown Estacada Commission meeting, Juan from Kellen's Dogs came to them as an applicant to be on their committee, but he also spoke to, they do a Cinco de Mayo celebration at the food carts, obviously on Cinco de Mayo. It's not something that the Downtown Estacada Commission was like excited about, being a part of, but he was, I don't know exactly what he was asking for, but I know he was asking for help for participation. So he might be someone to reach out to, because that is a cultural event that I think the DEIC would be, it would work well. He also does a 4th of July event. And I know that Downtown Estacada Commission is very, very busy with 4th of July parade. And there's nothing that, they don't really want to branch out. They want to put their efforts, all their efforts into that parade and making it successful. So I think those, one or both of those events might be something that is up the alley of the DEIC. How much you get involved, I don't know, but maybe start a conversation with Juan and see what he would want or need. And the real reason why I'm here is I wanted to come in and personally thank you guys for, helping make this committee successful. I wanted to personally thank Aaron for being here with me since the beginning, and I just want you guys to know how much this committee and the work that has been done, it might not seem like a lot, but it's made a big change in me personally. This has been an amazing experience for me. I've learned a lot. I've grown as a human being because of this committee, and I really look forward to seeing the work that you guys and the two new members, I'm really excited about that, about this committee moving forward. And I feel that I'm leaving you in amazing hands with Heidi and Joel. And I think that, I'll probably still come to the next meeting as a citizen also, just because I don't know that I can just let go. So, but again, I want to, and I want to thank both Elena and Taylor for the work that they've put into this committee also, because that has been, I feel that they've gone above and beyond, and thank Melanie for allowing them to put as much time into it as they have. But this committee has meant a lot to me. I wasn't exactly, when this committee was formed, I want to say uneducated. There was a lot, I didn't have enough information, and but I thought it was a great idea. It was initiated by Taylor and at that point, Councilor Kimberly Abels. Once I started to learn a little bit more, educate myself, the stuff that we were given through the city, I really feel that this committee is a necessity, and I really do look forward to the work that you guys are going to do moving forward. And I'm always going to be here, at least for the next 4 years. So if you guys need anything from me, I'm a Facebook message, email. See, my email's on the city page. I'm not far away. So thank you guys so much.
Thank you, Jerry.
Yes, thank you, Jerry. We really appreciated you.
It is, I'm glad you were here today, because I think it would have been really, it's a big change for us. So thank you, because you have invested in this group. And I mean, I wouldn't say we're like fully functional, but we're pretty close.
You guys are doing great. I do want to add a reminder before we adjourn tonight. that we did put another meeting on our calendars for the TSP briefing, the 17th of April. So
Yes,
I sent out
everybody,
that email, but just another reminder.
yes, get your calendars out, put that on there.
Yep.
Okay, and there's no more public comments. Committee comment time. And you can pass, I guess, if you don't have anything to say, but,
Tiffany did have to leave
okay,
early. She let me know that she would be.
Okay.
leaving a little early, so.
okay. Michael? Any committee comments?
I would just like to take the opportunity to personally thank Jerry for those wonderful sentiments and also his ongoing and tireless effort on behalf of the city and just being a generally good dude. So thanks, Jerry. We appreciate it. We appreciate what you do also. Right back at you, bud.
Thank you.
Generally good dude might be the new like tagline for under your name tag there. Jenny, any comments?
Yes, obviously I have not been able to participate as much as I used to be able to before the baby. But I have loved being a part of the DEIC. I'm really disappointed that I just do not have the time and freedom to be a part of the committee anymore. But it has been really great. And I swear I used to participate. Aaron and Jerry can attest.
Yes, we can.
So, so I will miss it, and I do look forward to getting involved again once my baby is a little bit older, and I have some hopefully free time again. But I think I mean, obviously we had a lot of turnover and things got rocky there for a little bit, but I do feel like I'm leaving it in good hands. So I was worried there for a little bit as my term was winding down that Aaron was going to kind of just be the only person on the committee anymore. But I've loved having everyone participate as much as they have. And I think that there's some really good people on the committee right now that can kind of take it into the next chapter. So thank you, everybody that's on the committee. And yeah, good luck.
Elena,
Yeah.
are we still accepting applications for budget committee?
Not sure.
Jenny, I would like to personally ask you if they're still accepting applications for the budget committee. That is a committee that meets one time. And I would, if they're still accepting applications and it's something you'd be interested in, I would love to see an application with your name on it.
Hey, I loved the charter review committee. We only met one time and it was great. So it sounds good.
No pressure, Jenny.
Just when you're trying to pull back and then you're getting roped back in.
I know. I always just get sucked in.
Heidi, do you have any
Yeah.
comments
Yeah,
today?
so, there's a lot of overlap on what the city has, their goals, council, other committees, and I'm really excited to see what we all can do together. And then there's the Thriving Communities grant that we have applied for that I think will help all of your efforts. And I'm just really excited to be a part of this.
Nice to have you here. Tammy, any comments today?
Not really, just really glad to be a part of the committee and already said how I appreciated Jerry and sad to see him go. Cause I haven't been here very long, so a little curious why we have two representatives from our commission on here now. I don't know if he's just gonna be temporary off and on or how that's gonna work, but new chapter.
Yep.
None of us know.
So.
Thank you.
mhm.
Travis,
Yep, just happy to be here. Nothing else to add
in 3 dimension. Yay.
for now.
Yeah.
Get used to it.
Yeah, okay. Oof. Yep. Thank you all again for your efforts and contributions to the meeting. Jerry, when you were talking, it made me realize too, how much more of an appreciation for Estacada I have gained by being a part of this group. And I mean, that's maybe like the unofficial tagline or something that we can talk to people about this group, because it really is getting to know your neighbors and learning the different needs in your community and not just the groups that you typically will connect with. So it's been really great for that. And there's a lot of exciting things happening. I was really happy to participate in the summit with Michael, and then also at the What's Up, and just kind of letting our presence be known and that we're here and we're friendly, and happy to work with all different groups and see what we can do to continue making Estacada the desirable place to live that it is. All right, well, I don't think there's anything else going on. So with that, we will adjourn this meeting at 5:07. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.